Welcome back to day 17 of 31 monsters in 31 days. We are officially past the halfway point, guys. Let's find out who we are making today. We are making a mermaid. All right, let's make her creepy. Let's get started.
While we're sketching out the plan and making the basic blob shape that all the monsters in this series are built off of, I'm going to give you a bit of a history of mermaids and the reason I included them on my monster list. If you want to see slower, step-by-step instructions on how to make this basic blob form, check out this video. For details on how I do my paper mache, check out this video. Both are linked in the description. In folklore, mermaids often have a darker, more malevolent character than the romanticized versions we see today. One of the more familiar variants comes from the sirens of Greek myths. According to Greek mythology, sirens were singing creatures whose irresistible songs would lure sailors to crash their ships into rocks or leap into the sea, resulting in death and destruction. In ancient Greek art, sirens were originally portrayed as half-bird, half-woman creatures, but over the centuries, the images of sirens and mermaids merged as symbols of deadly beauty and attraction. In Slavic, Celtic, and Germanic traditions, mermaids and water spirits were associated with drowned souls. The Rusalki in Slavic mythology are river mermaids who lure people to the water's edge and drown them. In Ireland, the Merrow would seduce young men with their singing and drag them to the murky depths of the ocean. In Germanic lore, the Nixie was a river sprite who may lure a man to his death in the water. American showman and general real-life villain P.T. Barnum capitalized on our fascination with mermaids when he exhibited the so-called Fiji mermaid at sideshows and his American Museum in New York in 1842. The so-called mermaid was an object composed of the upper body of a juvenile monkey sewn to the back end of a fish. Barnum's mermaid is believed to be one of many that were manufactured by fishermen in Japan at the time. There's a few of these things still hanging out in museums today, and they're kind of grotesque and fascinating looking. Because of their sinister side in folklore and the association with the American sideshows, I had to include mermaids on my monster list. My next step is to make the eyes. I'll need those to dry before I can add them to her face. I'm sculpting these with a DOS air dry clay. This is my favorite air dry clay. I'll leave a link for this and my other supplies in the video description. I'm using these two Dairy Queen spoons as a mold for our mermaid's eyeballs. I'm just shoving a ball of clay in there. In a few hours when the clay has set up a bit, I'll pop the eyeballs out of the spoons so that they can dry all the way through. Here are the eyes all dried. I'm going to give them a light sanding with these nail files I like. They'll be in the supply list in the description. Just don't forget to protect your lungs when sanding dry clay. Despite clearly having teeth on my initial sketch, I forgot to make them ahead of time, and I don't have time to wait for air dry clay to dry, so I'm making these with oven baked clay so they'll be ready to go in 15 minutes. Why does my mermaid have pointy teeth like this? Well, if you do a Google image search for a Fiji mermaid, this is exactly what their teeth look like. While those teeth are baking, I'm going to give this mermaid a tail. I'm building this platform off the side of the blob. And now, I don't use this technique very often, but you can make something 3D by cutting out its silhouette or like a flat shape of it, and then bulking out the shape on either side. So that's what I'm gonna do here. But first I'm cutting a nice fin out of cardboard. I'm sticking it on there. Now I'm wadding up some paper and taping it to the front of that cardboard tail shape. Then I'll do the same on the back of the shape too. With that done, I'll use some small wads of paper and masking tape to give her a womanly chest. I'm going to hot glue a few more fins onto the top of her head to give her a very cute fishy hairstyle. Now I'm painting the inside of the mermaid's mouth before I put the teeth on there. Doing this now is a lot easier than trying to do it when the teeth are installed, so I'm taking care of it now. Now I'm installing the mermaid's teeth. First, I'm wrapping a bit of colored paper around each tooth to make the gums. Using this black paper is really helpful here so I don't have to try to paint around all the little teeth later. A bit of hot glue on the back of each tooth keeps them extra secure so they don't fall out later. When I've got the teeth and gums all hot glued into place, I'm using my brush to soak that colored paper all in paper mache glue. Then I'm using some small bits of that black paper to blend the gums together. With the gums done, I'll give the other new additions I just made a couple coats of brown paper. Before I let this dry, I'm gonna make her lips. We're gonna use this blue fabric. It's really thin, so I'm doubling it up. I'm using this twisted paper towel to bulk up the lips a little bit. I'm placing it on the glue-soaked fabric and folding it inside like a little taco. Then I can pick it up off my work mat and wrap it onto the mermaid's face. I forgot to do my bottom lip first, which I think looks better for a fishy mouth, so I'm just tucking it underneath the top lip there. I'm locking on the fabric with some paper mache over the edges, and I'm letting all of that dry again before making the rest of the face. Now that it's all dry, we can hot glue the eyeballs to the face. I'm painting the eyes now too. I like to paint the eyeballs after they're attached to the sculpture so that I can make sure both eyes are looking in the same direction. When the paint on the eyes is dry, I'm giving them a nice glossy protective top coat of UV resin. I'm also coating the mouth in some UV resin too to make it look wet and drooly. I'm using a bit of that blue fabric to make the lower eyelids. I'm coating it in glue, folding it in half, and wrapping it under the eyeballs. I'm securing each eyelid down with some brown paper. Then I'm giving her some upper eyelids, being sure not to obscure her wistful upward gaze. The upper eyelids get secure with a bit more paper mache, then we'll set her aside to dry one more time. I'm base coating her in this bluish teal color. This color is really just going to be an underpainting because I'm going to build up some other colors on top. When the blue is dry, I'm going to lightly sponge some white all over. Next, I'm dabbing some of this warm bisque color onto our mermaid's upper half. I'm using a makeup sponge for this. I'm putting some of this translucent green on her tail. Next, I'm going in with a brush and painting in a few scales here and there. I also used paint pens in 2 shades of green to go in and make a few more. Finally, I used a cotton bud and rubbing alcohol to clean off her eyeballs, and I hot glued some black felt onto her base as a final finishing touch. And here's our finished mermaid. How do you like her? I think she's just fabulous. If you agree or disagree, let me know in the comments. I do try to reply to all of them. Thanks so much for watching to the end. If you could hit the like button or even comment a random emoji, I'd so appreciate it. Since I'm a smaller channel, anytime you interact, it really helps me out because it tells YouTube this video is worth watching. Also, feel free to try out that new hype feature YouTube has just launched. That would make my freaking day if you hyped my video. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss tomorrow's video. You can see it ad-free on my Patreon. And again, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.